Ren Kanzaki woke up with blood in his mouth. Not in a bed. Not in a hospital. Not surrounded by doctors, machines, or white curtains. He woke up on a classroom floor with someone's shoe pressing against the side of his face. "Stay down, trash." Laughter burst around him. Desks had been shoved apart. Chairs scraped against the floor. Someone near the back of the room had their phone out, recording. Ren blinked once. The ceiling lights were too bright. The floor was cold against his cheek. His ribs hurt. His lip was split. For 3 seconds, he did not understand where he was. Then his last memory returned. Penthouse above New York. Rain against glass. Private hospital bed. Machines beeping beside him. An old hand lying on white sheets. His hand. Victor Hale. 78 years old. Founder of Hale Capital. A man who turned $10,000 into billions by buying when the world panicked and selling when fools celebrated. He had owned private jets, mansions, companies, politicians who returned his calls, paintings he barely looked at, wine worth more than some people's homes. And when he died, there had been no wife beside him, no children, no friends, only a nurse checking the machines and a lawyer waiting for the will. Victor Hale died rich. Then Ren Kanzaki opened his eyes poor. The shoe pressed harder against his face. "Oi, Kanzaki. You listening?" The voice pulled him back. Ren's new memories slammed into him like broken glass. Japan. Tokyo. October 2008. 17 years old. Second-year high school student. Poor family. Failing print shop. Loan sharks. Bullying. And the boy standing over him, Shinji Moriyama, son of Moriyama Ruji, owner of Moriyama Finance. The same company that owned Ren's family debt. The same company that sent men to their apartment. The same company that made his mother bow until her forehead almost touched the floor. Shinji crouched and grabbed Ren by the hair. His school uniform was perfect. His shoes were polished. His smile was lazy in the way only rich bullies could afford to be. "My father said your family missed another payment." More laughter. Ren's stomach tightened. A second wave of memories hit him. A tiny apartment with a leaking ceiling. His mother watering down miso soup so the children could eat more. His father sitting in the dark beside unpaid invoices. His little sister, Amy, pretending her shoes still fit because she knew they could not afford new ones. A red notice on the print shop shutter. Debt. 12,800,000 yen. Interest growing like mold. The old Ren Kanzaki had endured all of it. The old Ren had apologized. Lowered his head. Stayed quiet. Victor Hale had not. Ren slowly lifted his eyes. Shinji's smile faded a little. "What are you looking at?" Ren spat blood onto the floor. The classroom went silent. Even the student filming lowered the phone slightly. Shinji's face twisted. "You little." The kick came fast. Ren moved before it landed. Not beautifully, not powerfully. His new body was thin, bruised, and weak. But momentum was momentum. He shifted his weight, hooked Shinji's ankle, and let the rich boy's anger finish the work. Shinji hit the floor shoulder first. The sound cracked through the classroom. Someone gasped. Someone whispered, "No way!" Ren pushed himself up. His ribs screamed. His knees shook. But his mind was awake. 40 years of boardrooms, crashes, hostile takeovers, currency wars, oil shocks, tech bubbles, bankruptcies, and billion-dollar negotiations opened behind his eyes like a war archive. Shinji sat on the floor, stunned. "You!" Ren wiped blood from his lip with his thumb. "You touched me?" Ren looked down at him. "No." His voice was quiet. "I corrected your balance." For half a second, no one moved. Then a few students choked on nervous laughter. Shinji's face turned red. The classroom door slid open. "Enough!" The teacher froze. She looked at Shinji on the floor, then at Ren standing over him. For one dangerous moment, everyone in the room knew the truth. Then the world corrected itself. The rich boy became the victim. The poor boy became the problem. "Kanzaki!" The teacher snapped. "Faculty office. Now." Ren picked up his school bag. The zipper was broken. The fabric had been patched twice. Inside were 3 textbooks, an empty lunchbox, and a folded debt notice he had hidden from his mother. At the top of the notice was one name, Moriyama Finance Group. Ren's fingers tightened around the paper. He had died with billions. Now his new family was being destroyed by 12 million yen. A laugh rose in his throat. Cold, bitter, unbelievable. How cheap, how unbelievably cheap. In the hallway, the teacher grabbed his arm. "What were you thinking?" she hissed. "Do you understand who Moriyama-kuin's father is?" Ren looked at her hand until she let go. "I understand very well." "No, you don't." Her voice lowered. "Your family is already in a difficult position. Causing trouble will only make things worse." Ren said nothing, because she was right. Power did not care about truth. Power cared about leverage. And right now, Ren Kanzaki had none. Yet, rain hammered against the school windows. Outside, Tokyo looked gray and exhausted. Office workers hurried beneath umbrellas. Shop owners stood in doorways, staring at newspapers covered in red numbers. The whole city looked like it had been punched. Ren stopped walking. A newspaper lay abandoned on a bench near the hallway window. The headline burned into his eyes. "Global markets plunge after Lehman shock." His pulse slowed. Lehman, October 2008, Japan. The memory clicked into place. The crash, the panic, the forced selling, the once-in-a-generation opportunity buried beneath fear. Ren stared at his reflection in the rain-streaked glass. 17 years old. Bruised face, cheap uniform, empty wallet, no capital, no reputation, no allies. Then something flickered in the air. A thin blue line of light appeared in front of his left eye. Ren froze. The hallway blurred. Numbers unfolded across his vision. Subject confirmed. Host, Ren Kanzaki. Condition, extreme financial distress. Debt pressure detected. Market environment, crisis stage volatility. Awakening requirement met. Market eye system initializing. Ren did not scream. He did not stumble back. He had watched men lose billions in minutes. He had seen traders vomit into trash cans. He had watched CEOs beg banks for one more day. A floating screen was new. Panic was not. The blue light pulsed. Market eye system. Purpose, to assist the host in analyzing financial markets. Warning, this system does not guarantee profit. Warning, this system does not reveal future prices. Warning, host judgment remains the final variable. Ren's lips curved. Good. A system that gave guaranteed answers would make him lazy. A system that gave information? That was a weapon. More text appeared. Current personal assets, 1,420 yen. Family debt, 12,800,000 yen. Debt holder, Moriyama Finance Group. Father's business, Kanzaki Print. Business risk, supplier cutoff within 7 days. Household risk, asset seizure pressure increasing. Mother's health risk, fatigue and stress deterioration. Younger sister morale, critically low. Ren's smile vanished. His fingers curled around the debt notice. In his past life, he once spent more than 12 million yen on a bottle of wine he did not finish. Now that same amount stood between his family and ruin. A new window opened. Emergency quest generated. Quest, prevent immediate family collapse. Objective 1. Secure at least 100,000 yen within 72 hours. Objective 2. Stop the next collection attempt. Objective 3. Prevent Kanzaki Print from losing supplier access. Reward, basic market scanner. Failure penalty, family trust collapse. Debt pressure intensifies. Ren stared at the first objective. 100,000 yen. Not millions. Not billions. Tiny number. Pathetic number. But his current assets were 1,420 yen. That made the tiny number a mountain. Good. Small money taught discipline. Big money only magnified stupidity. The faculty office meeting lasted 17 minutes. Ren apologized without meaning it. The teacher lectured him about humility. Shinji sat beside his mother's designer handbag, holding an ice pack to his shoulder and glaring like an injured prince. Ren bowed at the end. Not because he was defeated, because timing mattered. You did not fight a stronger opponent without leverage. You did not short a bubble too early. You did not attack a predator in its own den with empty hands. You waited. You watched. Then you struck. When school ended, Ren walked home in the rain without an umbrella. His shoes soaked through in 2 blocks. The streets around him were full of fear. A salaryman stood outside a brokerage, staring at the electronic ticker with hollow eyes. Red, 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 everywhere red. Through the glass, Ren saw traders shouting into phones. An old woman clutching bank papers. A young man in a suit rubbing his temples as if his skull might split open. The market eye system flickered. Market sentiment, Extreme fear. Retail panic. High. Liquidity stress. High. Forced selling probability. Elevated. Opportunity density. Rising. Ren's breathing steadied. There it was. Blood in the streets. His old mentor's voice echoed from a lifetime ago. The market is the only place where people run away from discounts. Ren checked his pocket. 1,420 yen. Almost nothing. But not zero. He needed seed capital. Fast. His eyes moved across the street. A second-hand electronics shop. A pawn counter. A sign for used game consoles. Then another memory surfaced from Ren Kanzaki's body. A handheld console hidden under his bed. Limited edition. Scratched but working. A gift from his grandfather before he died. The old Ren had refused to sell it, because it was the last thing he owned that felt like love. Victor Hale would have sold it immediately. Ren Kanzaki hesitated. That hesitation surprised him. His old life had trained him to liquidate assets without sentiment. But this body remembered his grandfather's warm hand. The small box. The words, "When things are hard, play something fun." Ren stood in the rain. For the first time since waking, Victor Hale and Ren Kanzaki disagreed. Then Ren closed his eyes. A memory of Emmy appeared. His little sister pretending her shoes did not hurt. His mother thinning soup. His father apologizing to debt collectors. Ren turned away from the brokerage and ran home. The apartment was smaller than he expected. Not because the memories were wrong. Because pain always made rooms feel larger than they were. The hallway smelled like old wood and boiled cabbage. A bucket sat under a ceiling leak. The kitchen light flickered. 3 pairs of worn shoes lined the entrance. His mother looked up from the stove. "Ren, you're soaked." Her face was thinner than it should have been. Pretty once, exhausted now. Her hands were red from restaurant dishwater. Then she saw his bruised cheek. The ladle slipped from her fingers. What happened? Nothing. Her expression broke. That answer had hurt her before. Too many times. Ren softened his voice. "I handled it." His mother stared at him, confused by the unfamiliar steadiness. From the small living room, his father spoke without turning around. "Don't cause trouble." Ren looked at him. Kanzaki Daigo sat at the low table with invoices spread in front of him like death certificates. His shoulders were broad but collapsed inward. Ink stained his fingers. His print shop jacket hung from his frame like it belonged to a stronger man. "I'm sorry," Daigo muttered. "I know it's not your fault. He covered his face. Ren watched him carefully. This was what debt did. It did not only take money. Took posture, voice, pride. The younger sister, Emmy, peeked from behind the doorframe. 12 years old. Uneven bangs. Bright eyes trying hard not to look scared. Big brother. Ren felt something unfamiliar tighten inside his chest. In his past life, he had no siblings. No children. No one waiting for him at dinner. He looked at this broken family and felt, for the first time in decades, that money had a purpose beyond winning. Ren walked to the closet. His mother blinked. "What are you doing?" He pulled out a small plastic box. Inside lay the handheld console. Scratched. Old. Precious. Emmy's eyes widened. "Brother, no. Grandpa gave you that." Ren closed the box. "That's why it still has value." His mother stepped forward. "Ren, wait. We'll manage somehow." "No," Ren said. The room went silent. Not because he was cruel. Because he had said the truth everyone had been avoiding. Ren looked at his father. "How much do we need to stop the shop from collapsing this week?" Daigo stared. "You're a child." "How much?" His father's jaw tightened. "Supplier bill is 87,000 yen. If I can pay that, they'll deliver paper for 1 more month. But that doesn't matter. Moriyama's interest is also due, and the full debt is 12,800,000 yen, Ren said. His father went pale. His mother covered her mouth. Emmy looked between them. "You knew." Ren held up the folded notice. Nobody spoke. Ren looked at the debt notice, then at the invoices, then at the leaking ceiling. He understood the battlefield now. Not all of it. Enough. "The full debt cannot be solved tonight," Ren said. Daigo lowered his eyes. His mother's shoulders dropped. Ren continued. "So we don't solve the full debt tonight." His father looked up. "What?" "When a house is burning, you don't argue about rebuilding the neighborhood." Ren picked up the console. "You kill the nearest flame." No one moved. Ren walked toward the door. His mother grabbed his sleeve. "Ren, Please don't do anything dangerous. Ren looked at her hand. Then, trembling, working herself sick for a debt that was not even hers. His voice lowered. I won't let this family fall. He left before she could answer. The pawn shop owner offered 18,000 yen. Ren laughed in his face. The owner scowled. You think this is Akihabara? The scratched. Old model. Battery weak. Ren opened the case and removed the backplate. The owner's eyes shifted. There it was. He had missed the detail. Original serial sticker. Limited production color. Factory matching charger. Grandfather had kept the receipt. Ren placed it on the counter. 42,000 yen. The owner snorted. Impossible. Ren pointed to the shelf behind him. You have the standard version listed for 29,800 yen. This model has lower circulation. Your buyer margin at 42,000 yen is still acceptable if you clean it and list it online. The owner stopped smiling. Ren leaned closer. Or I take it to the collector shop near Nakano Broadway tomorrow. They will know what it is. The man stared at him, then opened the register. 35,000 yen. 40,000 yen. 37,000 yen. Ren picked up the box. Wait. The owner cursed under his breath. 39,000 yen. Final. Ren held out his hand. Cash. The bills landed in his palm. Not victory. Fuel. Outside, the rain had stopped. Tokyo glittered under wet neon. Ren stood beneath the convenience store sign and counted the money twice. 40,420 yen total. Not enough, but enough to begin. The system pulsed. Seed capital acquired. Current capital, 40,420 yen. Basic market scanner. Locked until emergency quest completion. Temporary function available. Panic filter. A list of stocks appeared before his eyes. Ren read them quickly. Most were garbage. Companies drowning in debt. Dead businesses pretending to be bargains. Falling knives covered in blood. A bad investor saw a falling price and thought cheap. A good investor asked one question. Can it survive? The panic filter narrowed the list. Candidate. Small listed printing supplier. Ren froze. Printing supplier. His father's industry. The stock had collapsed after a rumor that a major client had canceled orders. But the system added more data. Price decline. Severe. Debt risk. Low. Cash reserves. Acceptable. Insider selling. None detected. Supplier network. Connected to regional contracts. News reliability, weak. Market panic exceeds fundamental damage. Risk. High. Ren's mind sharpened. A small company. A false or exaggerated rumor. Panic selling. Possible correction within hours. Dangerous. A liquid. Ugly. Perfect. He started walking toward the nearest internet cafe. A voice behind him said, Kanzaki. Ren turned. Shinji Moriyama stood under a street lamp with two older boys behind him. His shoulder was still stiff from the fall. His smile returned when he saw the cash in Ren's hand. Well, Shinji stepped closer. Daddy was right. Poor families always hide money. Ren folded the bills calmly. Shinji held out his hand. I'll take that as interest. Ren looked at him. The old Ren would have shaken. The new Ren smiled. You charge interest? Shinji sneered. You deaf. What rate? The question threw him off. What? Daily? Weekly? Monthly? Fixed? Floating? Compounded? Ren stepped closer. Or does your father only teach you how to threaten women and children? One of the older boys muttered. Shinji's face darkened. You really want to die today? Ren stepped closer instead of back. Tell your father something for me. Shinji's eyes twitched. Ren's voice dropped. One day, he'll come to our apartment expecting my mother to bow, my father to beg, and me to stay silent. He looked Shinji dead in the eyes. But that version of our family died yesterday. Shinji laughed. You don't even have lunch money. Ren slipped the cash into his pocket. Then he should be embarrassed when I pay him. Shinji swung. Ren ducked. The punch hit the convenience store signpost with a dull clang. Shinji cursed, clutching his hand. Ren walked past him. Not running. Not hiding. Walking. The system window opened beside him. Emergency quest updated. Objective. Convert 40,420 yen into at least 100,000 yen within 72 hours. Recommended action. High-risk micro-catalyst trade. Warning. Failure probability significant. Ren's smile was thin. Good. His cracked flip phone buzzed in his pocket. A message from his father. "Come home." Moriyama called. "They are coming tomorrow." Ren stopped in the middle of the sidewalk. Rainwater dripped from power lines above him. Tomorrow. Not next week. Not 19 days. Tomorrow. The enemy had moved first. Ren looked up at the glowing city. Millions of people were panicking, selling, crying, praying for the crash to end. But Ren Kanzaki had died once already. He was done praying. He entered the internet cafe and paid for the cheapest booth. The room smelled like smoke, instant noodles, and old plastic. A man slept in the corner with headphones on. Someone cursed at a horse racing site. A fluorescent light buzzed overhead. To Victor Hale, it would have been disgusting. To Ren Kanzaki, it was enough. He logged into the small brokerage account attached to this body. The screen loaded slowly. His available cash appeared. 40,420 yen. His family's first bullet. The system hovered beside the order window. Candidate confirmed. Trade type. High-risk short-term equity purchase. Primary catalyst. Rumor correction possibility. Potential reward. Emergency liquidity. Potential loss. Severe. Reminder. System does not guarantee profit. Ren's thumb hovered over the mouse. For one brief second, the memory of the console returned. Grandfather's gift. Emmy's shocked face. His mother's trembling hand. His father's broken voice. Then Ren looked at the red market screen. Fear everywhere. Discounts everywhere. Men with full wallets running from prices poor people would have killed for in calmer times. His old mentor's voice echoed again. When everyone sells because they are afraid, the brave do not buy blindly. They read. They wait. Then they buy the mistake. Ren checked the filings one last time. The company was not healthy. But it was not dead. The rumor was too convenient. The selling was too emotional. The price had fallen too far. Good enough. He entered the order. 40,420 yen. Almost everything. The system flashed red. High risk. Confirm order. Ren's eyes turned cold. In his past life, he had waited too long to understand what money was truly for. This time, he would not make that mistake. He clicked confirm. Order submitted. The order filled. The screen refreshed. Ren leaned back in the cheap plastic chair. Outside, Tokyo's market continued bleeding. At home, his family waited under a leaking ceiling. At school, Shinji Moriyama probably held ice to his hand and dreamed of revenge. And tomorrow morning, debt collectors would knock on the Kanzaki apartment door. Ren stared at the tiny position glowing on the screen. 40,000 yen. One trade. One night. One family. The old Victor Hale had once moved markets with a phone call. Ren Kanzaki had only bought a few shares in a dying city. But as the red numbers flickered in his glasses, he smiled. Because somewhere inside Japan's panic, a poor boy had just bought fear.